If you love the idea of mindful eating and healthy living, join me, Izelle Hoffman, lifestyle chef, food editor, and author, as we explore ways of achieving health and balance. Welcome to yet another episode. This week, it's about entrepreneurship and the mindfulness thereof. Now, according to a 2021 study by MasterCard, 90% of the women who lost their jobs during the pandemic never came back to work. Along with this shocking finding, research continues to point us to a view that global economic recovery depends on women entrepreneurs. In fact, a McKinsey Global Institute report says that $12 trillion could be added to the global economy of 2025 by advancing women's equality. Now, while the global picture has been painted locally, we are told that 90% economic activity in South Africa will be driven by entrepreneurship by the year 2030. So, should we all be considering entrepreneurship in South Africa? And perhaps more women? Now, whether recovering from a job loss or taking the brave step to follow your passion, what do we need to be mindful of when venturing into entrepreneurship? Now, I'm joined by two of the dynamic trio of women who run a sustainability agency called PAWA Africa. Now, they have cracked the solution for female entrepreneurs who are struggling with conventional funding solutions. Alesimo, Mwanga, and Joy Sibanyoni, welcome to Mindful Living.
Awesome. Welcome. We're so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you ladies. Clearly there's lots to talk about, and I'm dying to find out more about what you stand for and, this amazing initiative. But let's start with first things first. What does mindful living mean to you, and where did your journey start, Alesimo?
Thank you, Izelle. Thank you so much for having us. It's a wonderful opportunity to be here and share some of our journey, insights, inspiration, hopefully, that your audience will gain from this. To answer your question, the journey has been so long. I think for me, I'll start with the mindfulness aspect of this journey is that you need to really know who you are as a person and understand what values you stand for. And when you know those three or two core values for me, you're able to then attract the kind of work that you'd like to work with and the kind of people you want in your business. And I think that has been the corner center of my journey, which is how I ended up meeting my business partner, Joy. I think because we share similar values, as you'll probably hear throughout these conversations, is that we share a common vision, we share common values. And I think those are some of the things that a lot of people kind of miscalculate or they don't find as really important, but it can make or break your business or your journey.
Well, first of all, I just love Joy's name. I mean, she is radiating joy and sunshine and positive energy. And Joy, what does mindful living mean to you?
Sure. Thank you so much. As Alesimo has shared, thank you so much for the opportunity. I think for me, the biggest thing is purpose fueled by passion. And in mindfulness, one of the key things is understanding what you want to do, where the difference is that you can add in whatever context you find yourself in, and going fully passionate with that. So for me, mindfulness is so much more than just the way that you think or the way that you operate, but it's really doing it with so much passion.
Now, the evidence is there. Female entrepreneurship is going to play a significant part in re-energizing the global economy. Now, on the other hand, back at home, we have the highest SMME failure rates in the world. What is the missing ingredient that entrepreneurs are not being mindful of?
So there's many elements to this, right? I think one of the core things a lot of small businesses would say is access to funding. That's the favorite challenge that everybody has, but
yes,
there's more to that.
Okay.
You can have access to money and not have access to markets. You can have access to money and not have the right team. You can
Teamwork makes the dream work,
exactly.
right? Yes.
And so I think there's many elements that lead to the challenges of failure, but market access is definitely one of the core challenges, and the fact that a lot of people don't actually have the business acumen to successfully run a business because there's no template really. And some of us are first generation entrepreneurs, so that's where I would start with.
Yeah, and for listeners out there, Joy, PAWA, what does it mean? Because to me, it sounds like power, but I mean, obviously it's PAWA, right? Not POWER.
Yes, I think it's just a play on the word power. What we're really about is making a difference in the different areas and the projects that we work with. We love collaboration, and we know that whenever we choose clients to work with or the projects that we're working on, we want to make sure that it's making a sustainable difference within those environments. So the three key areas that we focus on is women, youth, and entrepreneurship. And we're about creating those channels and also communities where the impactful change that is required to see real transformation is actually taking place. I think one of the things about our team that drives us is also doing the work. So PAWA is all about putting the work behind what needs to be done and seeing the results that's going to end up basically benefiting our community and our entire country and world in the end.
I absolutely love that. It's like, from a chef perspective, I always say, don't just give someone a fish. You need to teach them how to fish.
Absolutely.
Because then the sustainability element is there, right? And I think you ladies are doing an absolutely phenomenal job. Now, as female entrepreneurs yourselves, are there any unique challenges you have faced in relation to the picture you are painting? And how have you practically overcome these?
Sure. I think one of the things about the program that we're going to be sharing, or the initiative with the PAWA called Fund Her, which we're very intentional about naming, is the fact that sometimes the community isn't necessarily there, or the channel to access funding isn't necessarily there. But a big part of it is also access to information, and that's what we're also about. So when I think about it, really, some of the challenges that we have experienced is just seeing a template of people who've actually walked this path of success, but not seeing the end result. So what I'm really looking forward to is seeing the stories of the people that come out of this initiative that we're working on. So personally for us, we've had a lot of challenges throughout our entrepreneurial journey, whether it's figuring out how to invoice clients, figuring out how to manage our resources, manage our cash flow, also how to work with different partners, how to manage a team. So there's a lot that we can actually mention, but that's just the main.
I see there's this big smile on Alesimo's
because
face.
she knows, she absolutely
She knows.
Yeah, but channel and community, it's so important that you have both of those. Yeah.
Okay, and you want to add something to that, Alesimo? I see you dying to say something there.
Yeah, I think one of the things that women struggle with, because on the topic of mindfulness, is the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
We often don't realize the power that we have within ourselves. We actually are doing the work, and you still feel like you're not good enough. You still feel like you're not in the right place, and you don't deserve what good is coming to you.
But let's just pause there for a second. How do you deal with that? Because so often people, from an outside perspective, they look so confident in what they do, and they look like they are living their best lives in their jobs. But yes, even the most confident people at time can doubt themselves. And you two ladies are very confident and you stand for something. But how do you deal with that self-doubt sometimes?
Right. I think fortunately I have a partner in crime that's kind of
someone that has your back, right?
Yeah, and is my cheerleader at moments where I feel like I can't do this. So it's also practice. You have to just put yourself out there and continuously do it until you get comfortable with it. Because unfortunately, if you want to succeed in this life, you just have to put yourself out there. It's like dating. If you want to find the right partner.
Did we started speed dating talk now?
I just feel like you need to attach it to something that women will understand. So it's kind of like that. You kiss a lot of frogs and then you get a prince. Pretty much how
Kiss a lot of frogs, yeah. It's like that. I think it was Gary Player that actually once said, people said to him, "Are you just lucky?" With obviously all the tournaments and stuff he won, and he said, well, the more you practice, the luckier you get, and I think it's pretty much comes down to the same thing there.
I think one of the things about imposter syndrome as well is it'll tell you that you're not doing a certain thing when you're already doing it. So the fear will try to actually pull you back, but you're already doing that specific thing. Something that we always talk about is that comparison is also the thief of joy. So we look at different examples of people who are making a difference wherever they're working in, and then what we do is we look at what are the lessons we can learn. So then this voice of imposter syndrome doesn't speak as loud because you're not looking at it as I'm lacking, but instead of I can learn from that next person.
Oh, I love that. It's often like, I used to do a lot of talks at schools and stuff like that, especially when it lacks confidence and, kids can be insecure. And I always used to say to them, but we all have a unique fingerprint, right? And you can strive to be like someone and try your best to copy that person, from hairstyle, shoes, what they wear, how they talk. But at the end of the day, you're never going to be 100% copy of someone. You can only be 100% original of who you are.
Absolutely.
And I do believe if we all have a unique fingerprint, we all have a unique purpose in this life. And I can see that's what the two of you are standing for.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about technical and practical aspects here. So how does Akiba work? First of all, you're going to have to tell me what Akiba is, right? And then we're going to have to talk about how does it work and where can women, in fact, sign up for this?
Perfect. So Akiba is a fintech platform. So for those who are not familiar with what fintech is, it's a financial technology platform. And what it does is it's like a marketplace similar to like an e-commerce platform where it connects borrowers to lenders. What they do though is that they provide SMEs with the opportunity to be able to improve their behavioral patterns and traits, to be able to get a credit scoring based on their actual business. Because what we do know is that oftentimes businesses that look for funding are assessed on their personal credit records. What people are mostly familiar with is the TransUnion, etc., because that's where most traditional banks assess your credit record score and your ability to access credit, essentially. So a lot of the times you'll find that even if businesses have a cash flow positive in their business and they're making money, they may not still be able to get access to credit because of their personal credit lending habits.
Do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I think the main thing is where people can apply for this kind of opportunity. So we have our splash page available for all the information that everyone's looking for in terms of criteria, in terms of frequently asked questions. You can go to www.fundher.powerafrica.com, and that's power with APAWA.
Now let's talk about some highlights for 2022 so far.
Sure.
How's this year been going for you ladies? Good, great, average, phenomenal?
Wow.
I mean, by the size of the smiles, I think it's going to be exceptional, right?
Yes. Well, we've been actually operating since 2020, I could say, when we got our first big break, I can put it that way, with the flagship program that we're working on. So it's specifically a program that works within the youth space called All for Youth. Since 2020, we actually hadn't taken a break because that's the life of being an entrepreneur. Often what ends up happening is you are the person who is doing the implementation, you're doing the strategy, you're doing the technical work, or the tactical work as well. So it's go, go, go. And for this year, I think this year was actually the first time that we've actually taken a proper break. But there's also been a lot of more opportunities that have come with working with different clients, meeting new stakeholders. So it's been a big growth year for us. And I think that's why we have so many big smiles on our faces, because we can't actually believe that we get to do what it is that we do every day.
So you're in that moment of don't pinch me, right?
Yes.
I'm going to wake up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But now, next I'm dying to ask you, self-care, self-love and being selfish is not the same thing. I mean, you can't overflow from an empty cup. And you ladies are all about go, 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 like Joy was saying just now. But how do you keep your cup full? How do you keep putting yourself out there for other people and making their dreams come true, but at the same time ensuring that you still also looked after as an individual and a person, because that's so important. So often we live so much for other people and we get so absorbed in our daily lives and things like that. But, we tend to forget about ourselves, and we need to be loved and cared for too.
100%, I agree with that. I think I'm definitely on a journey on doing better with that. But one thing I have learned is that I do need to take some time out. Often what I do is stepping away from technology because it's so much become a part of our lives through work, personal life. So I do take a day when I don't respond to any messages. I'm not on my phone. No one can get a hold of me. And I think that's really important, to just remove yourself from all the noise and do things that you really love that make you happy. If it's a phone call with someone that you love, taking a walk. I think one of the things that are really important is your physical health. because what we tend to do as entrepreneurs is we go, and we don't really take care of ourselves, spend time cooking. I don't really love cooking, but I'm learning to.
Let's talk about cooking. I just heard the word cooking. And everything in my brain just stopped immediately.
Yeah. So I come from a background where my mom is Nigerian and my dad is Tanzanian, and so there's all these different flavors, and
that must be an interesting kitchen.
Yeah. So I'm learning to start working on making those dishes. So
and can I ask who's the best chef, mom or dad?
My mom, for sure.
And what would you say is your mom's go-to recipe, or what is your favorite recipe you love your mom to make for you?
Okay, so my mom makes really great Nigerian and East African dishes. So if I was to pick Nigerian dish that she makes, it's called fufu.
Okay.
And igusi.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
You're going to have to explain to me. What goes in there?
Fufu is like it's like a pap, but it's made out of yam.
Okay, yeah.
And it's really soft and it tastes amazing. And igusi is like the draw stew that's made of okra. It's really nice.
And
it's
it almost sounds like they can go together.
They do go together.
On a winter's day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
Or when it's very cold outside. It sounds like comfort food or a hug in a bowl to me. Okay, and Joy, what is happening in the kitchen over there?
Sure.
I mean, that's hard to compete with.
Yeah, it's very hard to compete with. So for me, I'm not necessarily the best cook, but I definitely like to savor great meals. So I may not necessarily be the best baker or the best cook, but my favorite meals are anything sweet. I have a really sweet tooth. And for me, I think food makes me happy. So if you want to see me smiling, give me something to eat. I think one of my favorite dishes, I'd say, is a classic malva pudding, if I can put it that way.
Yes, so you hit also again that comfort food spot, right?
Yeah. So for me, I think in terms of self-care and just taking a step back and looking after myself as well, it's eating things that make you feel good but are also good for you and healthy. And then also, I think Alesimo said, exercise, stepping away. I love reading. So one of the ways I absolutely switch off is a good book. And that basically helps me unwind. I think it just gives me a different perspective. It takes away from the technology and the buzz of everything and just stills me. So yeah, I love reading and I love eating.
Oh, we could be friends. all of us. Right. We'll let Alesimo bring the food.
Yes.
And you can bring the book and we can be mindful all together. Now, be the difference you want to see in the world. Is often, a line I like to punt there, especially when it comes to the act of kindness and the act of giving, and I think that's already what you ladies are doing on a day-to-day basis. And that's why you love what you do so much. And I think that's why the whole don't pinch me situation comes into play on a daily basis. But how important do you ladies think it is to give back, especially when it comes to a mindful life? And yes, you did touch on the happiness note, Alesimo, earlier, but what would you say is the key to happiness?
Sure, I think I wish I knew that. But I think what's my key to happiness is definitely doing what I love, and getting to work with people that I love, and getting to share the wins with the people that I love, and also the challenges, and seeing us overcome those challenges together. I think that's what makes me happy.
Well, Joy's name's just making me happy. So is there anything you want to add there, Joy?
Yeah, I think for me, it's the relationships that you build. I think so many relationships start off sometimes as professional relationships. I think of myself and Alesimo. A lot of what we got involved in working together was because we were giving back, and it was in the space of youth, and it was something that we were passionate about. So for me, a key part of happiness is looking at the relationships that you have in your life and seeing how not only you can gain and learn and grow from them, but how you can also give. And that transcends any space or any environment that you find yourself in. I think it challenges you to grow, but then it also challenges you to make a difference in somebody else's life as well. And that stems from kindness.
Now, some last advice, let's call it parting advice, right? What is your message you want to leave with any listeners today? Joy?
Yeah. I think for me, it's that it starts with you. So it's very easy to look at opportunities and not have the confidence to apply. but really all it takes is a moment of just courage. So if you have a dream on your heart, if you have something that you're working on, if there's something that you know really stirs up the fire in you, definitely just do it. I think Nike got it right when they say just do it with their slogan. And that's what I would say. Just go for it. Because you'll find that there's a whole community of people like us, people like the people that we get to work with, who are wanting to see you thrive and champion you on. So yeah, that's what I would say.
That's giving me goosebumps. I mean, is there anything you can add to that?
Really, I think she took it all. She was going to say exactly what I was going to say. I'm kidding. I think the only thing I would add to that is I really encourage women to really invest a lot in their personal development. I think oftentimes we take those things for granted. Find a community, like Joy said. Be part of a community that you can plug into to grow personally. Utilize the resources that are given to you, because those things are meant for you to be able to grow your business. So find a community, hopefully you like ours, and be part of that. And I really do think that a lot of women have the power within themselves that they're not aware of. So go out there and do amazing things.
And I think lastly, just to add there as well, is linking the paycheck to the purpose is very important. So we live in an environment or in a context where a lot of people can't necessarily maybe afford to completely leave their jobs if they are working. So the side hustle culture is also growing so much more now. So do that. Sometimes that's your avenue into entrepreneurship. Just don't be afraid, but find what it is that you can make a difference in and go for it.
I think for me, what's important to also add on to that is a vision board. A vision board is a layout to your whole entire life. I'm shocked Joy didn't say that. She's so big on vision boards.
I'm so big. I'm just loving the fact that all of the answers and the things that we talk about, she is saying.
Yeah. So vision boarding, I think vision boarding, manifestation, your words are so powerful. You have no idea. I think that's my navigation tool. Every time when I'm not sure, your gut feeling tells you. Yeah. But also don't make too risky mistakes. Make calculated risky mistakes. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. So we took really high risks to be where we are today. So you must also understand that following your passion, following your dreams, following what you want to do, where you've got flexibility, also comes with other challenges. Like you may have to sacrifice a lot. You may need to reevaluate your spending habits. But in time, it does get better. And also be patient with the process. You're not going to earn what you were earning at corporate. And if you don't have a job and you think entrepreneurship is the solution, it takes time to get to a place where we're not even there yet. I think we're still on the journey to that. We're definitely way better than we were 2 years ago. But it's a process, and be kind to yourself. You will get there. Have the vision. Have the words, the manifestation words, and practice every day on the person the future person you'd like to be, and eventually you'll find yourself walking in it and pinching yourself and asking yourself if it's real.
I love the fact that you said patience, because yes, so often we all think a dream needs to happen now. And especially if we have that big dream or that big vision of who we want to be or where we would like to see ourselves. But what people tend to forget at times, and that's when the discouragement comes in, is start with what you have and do what you can with what you have. And you slowly but surely going to see, okay, but now I've done the first step and then the next step. And that's where the whole patience things comes in. But yes, I really believe in what you ladies stand for. I really wish you all the success. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your extremely busy schedules. But it is, as author and motivational speaker Jim Rohn always said, take care of your body. You only have one place to live, but also you only have one life, and you need to make the most of it. And for that reason, let's chase our dreams, all in the flavor of PAWA, of course.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Izelle Hoffman. Thanks for joining me as we journey towards mindful living. Find more at jacarandafm.com. Click on Jackpot.